Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Haribol. I'm very grateful, very honored, and very happy to be with you this evening. This is anniversary celebration. Can you announce what it is?
It is 225th Prerana Festival and 200th Chetana Festival.
Happy birthday. I remember many years ago, I was in my 20s, and I had been milking cows and offering seva to deities, Shri Radha Vrindavan Nata. And then I was instructed to go out and spread the message of Krishna's teachings according to Lord Chaitanya's mission in the service of Srila Prabhupada. And I didn't know what I was supposed to do, because I had just been living on a mountain for 8 years without coming off it. It was in a jungle. And before that, I don't know if you heard of a book called The Journey Home, but that's what I was doing before that. So I didn't know how to share the message. I only knew how to try to pray for service. But I remember when I was just doing kirtan and for the deities and serving the deities and taking care of cows. Srila Prabhupada's books, this was like in 1972 through 79, Srila Prabhupada's books were coming out one at a time. At that time, there was just the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and second canto coming was little paperback publications of one chapter at a time, until they got enough funds to make them into books, I guess. And as Srimad Bhagavatam was coming more and more, then the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. And how eager we were to read every word of every line, of every paragraph, of every page of each of these books. because it was just so rare. And none of this knowledge was at all available outside of India. And even in India, it was very rare to English translations like this. And I remember from years and years of just, between offerings and between cow milkings, and between kirtans, just every spare moment to read the latest books and then to reread and reread and reread and keep rereading until the next one came. And then when you start reading the next one, you realize how you're unprepared, so you should reread what you reread. And I felt Narada Muni and Prahlad and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. And then reading about Srila Prabhupada. When he was 25 years old, he was given an instruction from his spiritual master. He was a very strong political activist when he was 25. This was 1922, during the British control of India. And on his first meeting with his guru, he was asked to take the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to the Western world and to the whole world through the English language. And how seriously he took that instruction. At that time, he was just married and had a baby. But he was always preparing. And Srila Prabhupada would very happily share with us that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the father and primary Shiksha Guru of his guru, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he first wrote a book in English, The Life and Precepts of Lord Chaitanya, summarizing the life of Lord Chaitanya and his primary teachings. And from a place called Bhakti Bhavan in Calcutta, where he was living and where he was raising his 10 children and his wife was there. He wrote that book. He printed that book in his own house. And then he sent it to libraries and universities and colleges in various places of the world. London, Australia, Canada, United States. And that was such an attempt. And in one place, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, he had this dream, a dream he prayed to come true, that people of all races, of all nationalities, of all religions could come together in the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya with their arms raised, loudly chanting together as brothers and sisters the holy names of God. So his son gave his life for that purpose. And Srila Prabhupada, in 1965, he first left India with just 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. He had 200 sets, And he came by a ship, a cargo ship, to the West. And it's so much there in Srila Prabhupada's purports and in the wonderful stories of these great scriptures. The great treasure of Krishna consciousness. And the greatest joy in life is sharing it. And the necessity, to the extent there's an awakening of spiritual advancement, there's compassion. And as our compassion grows, we want to see more and more people experiencing the true happiness, the eternal happiness of love for Krishna. In fact, Srila Prabhupada said that the year Bhaktivinoda Thakur sent this book out, 1896, was his birth year, approximately the same time. So Srila Prabhupada, he was born for this mission. So even though I was so happy with the cows and the deities and the holy names, there was something that I never spoke to anyone about, but it was pulling my heart. That my guru was calling me to assist him in sharing this message. And then one day, I was ordered, go out and spread this message. I said, how do I do that? And I was just told, just depend on Krishna. So it was the winter, and it was very cold, ice and snow everywhere. And I just had an old blanket wrapped around me, and I was walking down the road and asking cars to collect me and drive me somewhere. And I was alone, and I was wondering, what am I supposed to do? Because I was reading in Srila Prabhupada's books, and I was feeling from the lives of all the great saints. And I had studied many religions before I came to this path. And I know among all these great spiritual paths, love for God and compassion for others is the only thing that's really meaningful in life. Everything else will come and everything else will go away. But how to do it? And in those days, there was no computers, there was no internets. I wanted to find some letter where Srila Prabhupada was telling a devotee how to preach, how to spread this message. Because the more deep our compassion is, the more a sense of urgency is there, because we really care about people. This human life is so precious, and every moment of this human life is so very precious. Durlabha manava janma lobhya samsare. And padam padam yadvi padam natesham. There's actually danger at every step. Prahlad Maharaj was teaching his 5-year-old friends this message. They said, Prahlad, why are you telling us this message? We're 5. We should play. and study. And then later, Gomarajare Pragyo. Prahlad Maharaj said, it's urgent for everybody at all times. What is the purpose of life? We see in the world today, there's people with so much money and so much power and so much fame and so much influence. But how long does it last? And even while it's there, it does nothing for the soul. The soul is seeking pleasure, anandamayo bhyashat. And the only pleasure that actually satisfies the heart is the pleasure of love. To love and be loved. Everything else is superficial and fleeting. But in this world, everyone has to die, and there's so many obstacles to loving and being loved. There's so much envy and so much greed and so much everything. The very origin of the propensity to love is in God. We call Krishna. Krishna's love for us. Krishna's supreme, infinite, unlimited, oceanic love for every living being. And when we recognize that love, appreciate that love, then we reciprocate with our love. And the Srimad Bhagavatam describes when that connection is made, it is like watering the root of a tree. To the extent we love Krishna, we feel deep compassion for other living beings. We feel for physical suffering. We feel for mental and emotional suffering. But mostly we feel for that isolation, that loneliness of the soul that's desperately looking for happiness through these illusory temporary things. Because we've forgotten Krishna's love and our love for Krishna. And the more we experience that love, the more we care about others having that love. And the more we feel pain when we see people without it. So, this is at the essence, at the heart of all true paths of Dharma. So now I'm on this road with ice winds, snow. Didn't know where to go, didn't know what to do. So I asked a devotee, do you have any letters where Srila Prabhupada is telling us how to spread this message? I knew there were so many book distributors, but I didn't have any books. And I had no money for books. So what am I supposed to do? So they gave me 2 letters of Srila Prabhupada. It's all they could find. There wasn't a book of letters. None of this was published. Somehow or other, they just had 2 letters where Srila Prabhupada wrote to 2 disciples about how to spread Krishna consciousness. And I'd like to share that with you. because I didn't know what else to do. These 2 letters became like the mission statement of my life. And in one, Srila Prabhupada wrote that the future leaders of the whole world tomorrow, in the future, are the young people in the high schools and colleges today. And Lord Chaitanya's mission really doesn't have a strong future unless we could reach the young people. And then he wrote, do not just tell them that we're better than you. He said intelligent people will withdraw when they hear that. Just explain Lord Chaitanya's teaching so nicely that they will come to that conclusion by their own intelligence. And he said, giving one lecture is nice, but it is important for the youth of the world to have regular association of devotees. Not just to know, but to change hearts. And this is so much an essential truth within our scriptures. What is the crest jewel, the culmination, the essence of all the Vedas? It is Srimad Bhagavatam. It was spoken by Shukadev Goswami. And when he spoke Srimad Bhagavatam, he was hardly 16 years old. And yet there were sages and rishis like Vishwamitra, even his guru Vyasadeva, and his guru Narada. They were pretty old. And Parikshit Maharaj was the emperor of the world. They were all there, attentively hearing from a 16-year-old boy. And his words changed the world forever. And one of the most important chapters of the Srimad Bhagavatam, not just chapters, but cantos, was the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. Over thousands of years, great acharyas have been quoting Prahlad Maharaj. And he heard from his guru when he was in the womb of his mother. And he was preaching to the world and offering beautiful prayers to the Lord that we all recite and inspired by when he was just 5 years old. We all see the condition of the world today. Sometimes when I feel a little comfortable, I get messages from devotees in Ukraine or devotees in Iran. Or devotees who are just losing their loved ones, or suffering diseases. And the more we're connected with the reality of the world, the more we understand that our idea that we're comfortable and happy, it's because we're just in a little bubble. Yes? But what's the nature of little bubbles? Even if we don't plan it, even if we don't want it, at any moment something could prick it. And then the bubble bursts. And then we're just experiencing all this conflict and sorrow that's in the atmosphere. And that's not pessimism. In one sense, we could, if we're trying to be happy in material life, it sounds really pessimistic that we could suffer at any moment. But it's a fact. It's a reality. And if we understand that there is a real happiness that is transcendent to the ever-changing situations of the body and the mind and the world around us, then we actually feel that this is the truth I should be seeking in my life. We want to make truth the foundation of our life. And then we want to build our life on that foundation. Bhagavad Gita teaches the idea. Arjuna was a married man. He had children. He had government responsibilities. And he was in the midst of a great crisis. And he was confused what to do. So those situations are there. That's the world is filled with them. And he wasn't told to give up his skills or his trainings, but to have this spiritual foundation of truth and build life upon that. And there's no greater blessing and benediction to the whole world than for a young person to take very seriously, to know and live in harmony with this truth. And I think it was Sri Dhamma Prabhu and Kishori Devi. I heard a few things while I was busy doing, that they were talking about different projects. This temple, Bhaktivedanta Hospital, Govardhanika Village. What to speak of so many projects all around the world. The Bhaktivedanta Hospital began with a few medical students who just decided by their own free will after being inspired to build their medical careers on the foundation of love of God, of Krishna consciousness. To heal the body, the mind, and the soul. And students who studied engineering, commerce, medicine, architecture, graphic designing, education, science, martial arts. And so many other things. Yat karoshi arashnashi. And the truth is that the real success and perfection is that we're doing it in a way that Krishna's pleased, that we're watering the root of the tree. We're doing it of instruments of God's compassion above our very temporary selfish requirements. Today is Hanuman Jayanti. And Hanuman was like that. He learned these teachings when he was a little baby, actually. He was very young. He was in the association of sadhus. But the example of Hanuman, recently we celebrated Ram Navami. And Hanuman, he was strong. He was a good fighter. He was actually very intellectual. Had very deep natural intuitions. But he built it on the foundation of truth. That the real success and happiness of life is in pleasing Lord Ram. And Ravana, you've heard of Ravana? He was also a very good fighter. He was also very strong, very wealthy, very famous. He was extremely intellectual. But he wanted to enjoy God's property for himself. And Hanuman wanted to use all his talents and his skills as an expression of his love for Ram and his compassion for Sita and others. They seem very opposite, but they both had more or less the same talents. But one used it with love and compassion for God, and the other did it with envy and greed and lust. So these stories are so important to understand. Jatayu lost a fight, but his life was perfect. When Jatayu, I think you all know the story. When Ravana was taking Sita away, Jatayu was very old. He really had no chance. All Sita did is call down and said, Jatayu, Jatayu, just tell Ram what has happened to me. I'm being carried away. But Jatayu had to fight. He had to try to rescue Sita. And ultimately he was defeated. And he was laying there dying, and Ravana took Sita away. And when Ram came and saw him, Ram embraced Jatayu. Jatayu was a vulture, which is not the most Not like a peacock or a swan. He was a vulture. And he was covered with vulture blood and Ravana's blood. And Ram embraced him, placed his head, Jatayu's head, on his lap. And while embracing him, Ram cried and said, "You have given your life for me. I owe you everything. On this very day, you will go back to the spiritual world." And gazing at the beautiful face of Ram and crying in love, in Ram's embrace, he passed from the world. So he lost, but he won. Hanuman, he was also trying to rescue Sita, but he was successful. In his enthusiasm, he jumped across the ocean in one jump. He saw everything about the planning of Sri Lanka, Ravana's abode for the future fight. He searched everywhere and everywhere without giving up for Sita. And he found her and gave her Ram's ring and promised her Ram's just coming. And then Sita told Ram a very, very beautiful story and gave him a jewel to give to Ram. And then Ram wanted to do some extra service, so he burned down the majority of the city of Sri Lanka. But he did it in a very, in a way to teach the world. He made a great obstacle into something that could be beautifully used in Ram's service. To torture him, to humiliate him, to kill him. They lit his tail on fire. Ravana lit the tail on fire, along with his military people. So what did he do? With the same fire they put on him, he just jumped on their houses and burned down their houses and burned down their palaces. And everything was in complete commotion. It's like karma. If we do something to hurt another in this life or another, it's going to come and burn us. That's one lesson. And that's intelligence. To understand, there's science. The science of gravity, what goes up must come down. There's also the science of creation. And here in India, there's so many software engineers. Now, I don't know how it works because I'm not programmed like that. I can't. This microphone is making my voice so loud. I may chastise them if it's not working right. But they know how it's working, and I have no idea. I know it's supposed to work. But, there's subtle sciences beyond what the eyes could see, beyond what our gross senses have direct access to. But that's what technology is. That's what science is. Studying, observing, experimenting, and then getting little by little better understandings of that which is beyond our abilities to directly perceive. So karma is a very, it's a subtle science. Just like all this software. It's a subtle science. But how it manifests as missiles. It manifests right on the screen in front of us. Make us laugh, make us cry. So subtler than that is the science of the reality of karma. If you cause harm to others, you may not see it, but it's just a matter of time till it manifests on this screen of our perception of life as happiness or distress in one form or another. So we're responsible. Yes, Hanuman gave a good lesson. They lit his tail on fire, and with the same exact fire that they put on him, he put on them. And while their whole kingdom was burning down, Hanuman just jumped in the ocean, put his tail out, and then roared, Ravana, I'm just one servant of Ram. Empowered by Ram. And there's an army of millions of soldiers of Ram. And Ram. If this is what I can do, what is going to happen? Give back Sita. The Ravana, he exemplifies, the human ego. He just didn't believe it. He was just so comfortable in his conception of who he was and what his happiness was. So when Hanuman came back, he jumped over the ocean again, and he came back and reported everything to Lord Ram. He gave that ring to Lord Ram. The jewel. He gave the jewel that Sita had given him. And it's so interesting, Ram was crying. He practically said the same thing to Hanuman that he said to Jatayu. Different, but the same spirit. Lord Ram is Lakshminath. He's the Lord of the goddess of fortune. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He's the proprietor of everything that exists. He said, I have no way to repay you. You've taken so much risk and endured so much difficulty for me. All I have to give you is myself. And because he was so pleased with Hanuman, He embraced him. He embraced Hanuman when he was victorious, and he embraced Jatayu when he was utterly defeated to the point of death. He embraced them both. Ultimately, we may have our victories in life, but ultimately it's all taken away. When our values in life are built on the foundation of truth, then the joy we're seeking is to please Lord Ram. And what greater motivational purpose is there than that? And that is what Krishna describes as Raja Vidya Raja Guyam, the king of all knowledge. We're not these bodies. We are the eternal souls within these bodies. The subtle mind and the gross physical form. We are the soul. And Jivera Swarupa Krishnara Nityadas. Our true nature, the truth is we're eternally loving servants of the Supreme Soul. So if we want to be musicians, what a beautiful, eternal dharma is being offered to us. Be a musician for Krishna. To please Krishna. Be an engineer for Krishna. Be a scientist for Krishna. Seva. Where that spirit of seva, that spirit of love, of service, of compassion, and sincere remembrance of the beauty of the Lord, the mercy of the Lord. That's the greatest opportunity we have to build that foundation of life. And when young people like all of you Srila Prabhupada would call us boys and girls. Because he was in his 80s, late 70s actually, even mid-70s. Even if his disciples were in their 20s and 30s, he would say boys and girls. So, I'm just an insignificant servant of Srila Prabhupada, but still I'm 75. So yes, you are all boys and girls. Please understand the greatest hope for the world, because the world is never hopeless. When there's God, there cannot be hopelessness. Hanuman never thought anything was hopeless. Even if it was impossible, it wasn't hopeless. And whoever we are, the hope for the world and the greatest blessing for the world is when sincere young seekers, like each and every one of you, take very seriously this opportunity to make Krishna's love and Krishna's compassion. And there's no greater way to satisfy and please the Lord than according to who we are and what we are. We may be mothers, we may be fathers, we may be students, we may be brahmacharis, sannyasis. These are all details. But the purpose of all aspects of life is with sincerity and proper association and proper direction, and really striving to live with proper character. We're striving to please Krishna, to please our gurus. Ultimately, to please the souls of others. When seeing all of you, each of you, your sincerity to make Krishna consciousness, bhakti, the foundation you build your life upon, is actually a truly great blessing upon the whole world. Please don't be distracted by losing the opportunity to give that blessing to the world. And to lose the opportunity of being entrusted with such a wonderful blessing to receive and share. Today we're celebrating 225th birthday of Prerana. And the other is? The 200th anniversary or birthday of Chetana. And how many years has it been for both?
2002.
2002.
Yeah, 24 years. 2003 May.
Huh?
2003 May, month of May, first day.
Very well. Remember, you were sitting here. But over these 24 years, now it's the most beautiful thing for our hearts to witness how young seekers who are students, or just coming out of colleges, and some just going into colleges, now they have children going into college. Some of the devotees who were young, coming to Preranas and Chetanas, they're coming to me and sharing their retirement plans with me. But the beautiful thing is from the very beginning, they just very sincerely allowed Krishna and the community of devotees to help to build that foundation and build that foundation. I remember once, because it's Hanuman Jayanti, Srila Prabhupada said that he said, all Rama had to fight against Maya, Ravana, all Ram had to fight against Maya was an army of monkeys. And Prabhupada looked at us and he said, all Ram has given me is you monkeys. Anyway, in India, usually monkeys are quite disturbing. So, such a beautiful lesson of transformation. The mind is like a monkey too. It's very disturbing sometimes. You may have that experience. Jumps from here to there. But by the association of Ram, the monkey of the mind can be like a devotee, can experience the joy and the love of Hanuman. So please take this opportunity serious. I humbly beg you, because the world needs you. The country of India needs you. Our families need you. And from my heart of hearts, I thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So I didn't want to take much time away from another very precious occasion that we all have, to ask some questions to His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. So I request devotees, whoever wants to ask some questions, they can raise your hand and the mic will reach you. So somebody is taking the mic? Yes. So there is a Mataji there.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Tanvat Pranam.
Hari
Thank
Bol.
you so much for the class today. Maharaj, you said love of God and compassion, sharing of compassion to the other is the only meaningful thing in life. And Maharaj, I aspire to be, you said you should be instrument to in this compassion of the Lord. But sometimes I think that sometimes it's like, we know the principle of life, but we get confused with the details of life, Maharaj, because sometimes we are bombarded with so many things around, and sometimes I feel like I even don't know what I want, and then I think, how will I know what Krishna wants? And how will I know that if I'm pleasing Krishna? How will I know if I am doing what I'm doing is right or wrong? How will I know what is Krishna's will is? How will I surrender, Maharaj? Yes, thank you.
You sound like a happy Arjuna. When Arjuna was standing between the two armies who were about to go at war with each other on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was asking Krishna similar questions to your questions. Karpanya dosho pahatasvadharam. I'm confused. I don't know what's to be done and what's not to be done. But he asked Krishna, and then he heard from Krishna, and then he followed. So those confusions are inevitable because that's the nature of the world. But that's why we need to hear from Krishna, and we need to understand the need to hear from Krishna. Not only that we need to, but we understand that we need to. And that is why we have the association, the satsang. Durlabha manava janama satsange taraho eva vo sindari. The human life is so rare and so precious because the highest treasure, the imperishable treasure of happiness in devotion is available for a human being. But the most precious thing in human life is to associate with devotees. And then like Arjuna, by studying these beautiful books, our holy scriptures with commentaries of Srila Prabhupada, our acharyas, by being in the association of those who are sincerely, earnestly striving to be instruments of God's love and compassion. By accepting Shiksha Gurus, Diksha Guru, association of mentors, then we ask the same questions and they give us the same answer that Krishna gave Arjuna. That's parampara. So it's not that distractions and confusions go away, but we learn to take shelter of Krishna. And then even in the face of these perplexing situations, we're never discouraged. We're never discouraged. Does that answer your question?
Anyone else has a question? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much. Maharaj, as we all know, we have Hanuman and Ravan inside us.
And who?
We have a Hanuman and Ravan inside all of
Radhan,
us.
yes, yes, yes.
Maharaj, my question is that how we can make that Hanuman more stronger than Ravana, so that we can surrender our life unto the lotus feet of Shri Radha Govind. So please tell me, Maharaj.
Haribo. By following Hanuman's example. Hanuman taught us that all of his strength, all of his courage, all of his devotion were coming because he was always remembering Ram. And he was always chanting the holy names of Ram. So the power to transform us from our Ravana tendencies to Hanuman, love and devotion, is to take shelter of Lord Ram. He took shelter of Sitaram. In our temple, we have the shelter of Sitaram in the form of Radha, Gopinath. And they are forever inviting us to allow them to be our companion in the form of their holy names. So Hanuman, his answer to your question is always remember Ram and never forget Ram. Kirtaniya Sadahari. Try to always chant the holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare And if according to our capacity we try to understand the teachings, we chant the holy names, we understand how we really need the association of devotees, community, then we are truly following in the footsteps of Hanuman. Hanuman was Trinadapi Sunichena. He was completely humble. And Ravana was arrogant. Hanuman was forgiving. Ravana was vengeful and hateful. Hanuman was always remembering the greatest value of life is to love Ram, serve Ram and please Ram, and always remember Ram. And these beautiful histories are there to give us limitless hope. And exemplary teachings that we could follow. Is there another question?
Any? We like to alternate, so maybe some girls. Yeah, the mic can go behind.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
So I want to offer my sincere and that gratitude towards you. So I want to ask one question in the mood of just receive the answer. So please bless me. My question is, as you said, that Sukadeva Goswami, when he was 16-year-old, he spoke Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, because he was exalted, we can say, devotee. But in this age of Kali, how we can follow that, we can say that barriers of age, that we have to follow that barriers of age while receiving the Shastra's knowledge and while spreading the Shastra's knowledge. Does we have to really follow the age of, means barrier of age? Please guide me, Maharaj.
Can someone explain?
Is there a barrier of age now? Earlier he spoke.
We listen to only from the seniors, or you can hear from anyone.
Haribo. When you hear your parents and grandparents giving you teachings, they're quoting a 16-year-old boy, Sukadeva Goswami. And that's a wonderful lesson in this story from Srimad Bhagavatam. That it's whether one is from one caste or another caste, whether one is one color or another color, whether one is one sex or another sex, whether one is from one social status or another social status, whether one is young or old, whoever is sincerely repeating Krishna's message and striving to be a good example of those teachings, we should be very eager to hear from each other. We should hear from each other. We could learn so much from little children too. We should be seekers of truth, seekers of that foundation. So it's our culture. It's our culture because Sukadeva Goswami even Lord Chaitanya started the Sankirtan movement. He was about 18 years old. He started the whole worldwide Sankirtan movement. When he was 24 years old, he traveled around all of India preaching Krishna consciousness. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was like his grandfather's age. But still, Lord Chaitanya always honored and respected the seniors. And Sukadeva Goswami always honored and respected his seniors. So we should offer honor and respect for people according to their senior position. Our parents, our elders. But we seek the truth from those who are actually truly repeating Krishna's message and representing Krishna in their lives. We should strive to follow that. Even right here at Radha Gopinath Temple, We have brahmacharis and grihastas, people like Sridhama and Kishori and so many others. I can name hundreds. And even people the age of their parents are so inspired and come to their classes. Yes, because they're representing Krishna so beautifully. But they're always honoring and eager to hear from their seniors. When I was a newer devotee, and practically our whole movement in the early times, in the 1970s, we may see Srila Prabhupada every couple years and sit for some of his classes. But other than that, we were all giving classes to each other. Basically, everyone was peers. If someone was a couple years older than us in the movement, they were considered very senior. But basically, we were all in our teens or 20s. And yet, because, we'd have Srimad Bhagavatam classes and Bhagavad Gita classes and kirtans, and we'd read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and every night we'd read Krishna book to each other. And because we're just sharing Prabhupada's teachings, we were getting limitless inspiration and knowledge from each other. And that's the beauty of Parampara. Am I answering your question? Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, so we'll have to bring an end to this question and answer session. And before we have wonderful kirtan, just some important announcements. First of all, would like to profusely thank His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj for very, very deeply touching and enlivening us with his very, very nectarian words. And we pray to Shri Radha Gopinath that may we have this festival, this youth festival, more and more. How many of you want this festival more and more? Dil mange? So we pray that we have this one festival. So let us thank His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj profusely by loudly chanting again 3 times. And also it has been such a wonderful to have such a very, very receptive and a very, very deeply attentive crowd as all of you, or devotees, all of you. Let us profusely thank all of you for being so attentive and wonderful audience. I'm sure all of us are taking some wonderful thoughts, realizations, and teachings from this class. And my humble request is, let us not just remember this class, which of course we should, but let us live this class. So let us live this class. And just some important words of gratitude to the kitchen department for month on month supplying us and providing us wonderful, tasty, sumptuous prasad for both the Chetana and the Prerana festivals. So a loud thanks to the kitchen department. Grateful to the sound system and the temple for facilitating such wonderful facility in the form of sound and the facility. Again, a round of applause for the Department of Sound. We want to thank Devendra Agarwal ji and family for contributing for today's festival. And there's also announcement that there's going to be the next Chetana Festival, which is happening on the 11th of April. Chetana Festival for the boys, for the girls, I'm sorry. Chetana Festival for the girls happening on 11th of April. The topic is The Fire Within, will be given by Her Grace Radharani Mataji. So please. And they have a very, very exciting Ujjain Yatra coming in again for the Chetana girls from the 26th of June to 28th of June. So those who want to join, they can join. Anything from the Prerana side? The next festival of Prerana, just so the boys don't feel despondent, is on the 9th of May. Topic is by Shridama Sakha Prabhu. So here is the brother and sister both speaking. The Chetana by Radharani Mataji and the Prerana by Shridam Sakha. Both are brothers and sisters. Very interesting. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Hare Krishna. As kirtan is going on, please dance in small, small circles together. Boys with boys and girls with girls.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama please. As you're chanting, please raise your arms very high and call out the names of Shri Krishna, Shri Radha, with all of your heart very, very loudly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, everyone, with great feeling, let us be instruments to shower the whole world with the divine sound of the Mahamantra. Very, very loudly, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, we told story of Hanuman with the example that the fire lit by the Rakshasas burnt down their own kingdom. But from a higher perspective, it was the fire of Hanuman's devotion, his love and his compassion that burned away all illusion and ignorance and helped to free Sita to be forever with Lord Ram. With the fire of the holy names, let us spread to burn away suffering and sorrow and live in the light of Krishna's love. Everyone, very, very loudly, please, together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Ras Vigraha. Krishna has descended in the sound of this Mahamantra. In the age of Kali, the greatest benediction as one can achieve the ultimate perfection of prema bhakti by taking shelter with a humble heart of the holy names of the Lord. We need this shelter. The whole world needs this shelter. Let us pray for this shelter. Everyone together, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. One more time. Many tens and millions of times louder. In a mood of prayer. Everyone together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Haribo, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. One more time, everyone, please. Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare. Everyone. Viva. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Gaur Premanandi, Gaur Premanandi, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Haribo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, everyone.
Everyone, please raise your arms very high in a spirit of seeking shelter and distributing that shelter of Krishna's love, Krishna's grace. Girls, chant 200 times louder. And boys, 225 times louder. Everyone together, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Much louder, please. Everyone, with one heart, one voice. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Haribo, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Thank you very much.
when I call upon you as boys and girls, please know that when you get old people, like, they would actually want to be boys and girls. It's a very exalted position. I'm very, very grateful to you. And I pray, I sincerely pray that Shri Radha Gopinath, Shri Nitai Gaura Chandra, Srila Prabhupada shower their blessings, their mercy, their grace upon each and every one of you and your family and loved ones. And I pray that the Supreme Lord empowers you to truly find happiness in bhakti and feel great